This is Dick Zondag, the garden doctor, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the most beautiful flower that you can plant in a semi-shade to shade garden. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to talk about one of the most beautiful flowers that we can plant in a semi-shade to a shady garden, and that's begonias. Begonias are native to the Andes mountain in Peru and Venezuela and have been hybridized and crossed and now have a lot of very beautiful colors and shapes and sizes. Some of them are the picotees, which have two different colors. They have a edge around the leaf. The ballerina begonias, which are large blossomed ones. The hanging basket begonias, and there are lots of others. They're mainly grown two different ways. One is from bulbs, like this. Or they can also be grown from seed, and that's where you get your wax begonias and your non-stop begonias. But we're going to talk mainly about the begonias that you can grow from bulbs. One of the things that you want to know is that begonias like to have a moist soil, but they don't like to be in a wet soil. So a sandy soil or a soil that's high in organic matter is the best soil to grow begonias in. Also, they like to have some fertility but not too much fertility. So if you're going to fertilize them, I usually tell people to fertilize them with half-strength fertilizer. So if it says a tablespoon per gallon, use a teaspoon per gallon, and that will keep them in really good shape. So pests of begonias, there aren't a whole lot of insect pests, but if they're in too wet of a situation, or if the leaves stay wet in the morning, they can get powdery mildew. And so the best way to combat that is to have them in an area where you've got good air ventilation so that the leaves dry off in the morning before the disease has a chance to establish. So we're going to start them. I've got a couple different kinds here. The best way to start begonias is in a highly organic soil, and I brought a couple of different examples. You know, just a regular peat-based potting soil works really well, or you know, even a seed starting mix. And we're going to start the begonias very much like you would start seeds, but you just take some of the soil and you fill the bottom of the flat with the soil. And then you want to determine the top from the bottom, and it's quite easy actually with begonias because you'll be able to see the leaf scar on the top, and it's usually concaved so that the top is sort of concaved in. Lots of times you'll see little sprouts starting from the tuber. This is a tuber. It has the ability to sprout sprouts, and so you want to have the top part of the bulb facing up. So when you're starting begonias, you don't have to have them too far apart, because as soon as they're sprouted, we're going to take them out and put them into a individual pot. So you can plant them a couple inches apart. So I've got the begonias set where they're going to start. There are 18 begonias in this flat. Probably could have got a few more, but I want to give them a little space. Then what we're going to do is just cover them so that they're just barely covered with that same soil. Going to label them so we know what variety we have, and then we're going to moisten the soil so that the plant starts to grow, and then we're going to stick them into a plastic bag. And you're only going to use this plastic bag for as long as the plants are starting to sprout. Once you start to see the tops emerge from below the soil, you want to take them out of the plastic bag, and once they have a leaf or two, you can transplant them into a pot, individual pot, which you will grow on until they're ready to plant out. So now we have our red begonias planted. I'm going to leave them on the bench here because we have bottom heat on the bench, and that will also increase the speed at which they will start to grow. So just remember, you want to have them moist but not wet, and we'll come back when the plants are sprouted and they're ready to go into another pot. This is Dick Zondag, the Garden Doctor. If you liked this video, please subscribe and hit the bell so when we produce another video you can see it.